back to our channel, Stormrider. The 2026 USS Zumwalt DDG-1000 Destroyer is one of the most futuristic, unconventional, and technologically advanced warships ever built by the United States Navy. And in many ways, it looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. In this video, we're going to break down what makes this destroyer so unique. Its design, stealth capabilities, its advanced weapon systems, and why it stands at the center of the Navy's next-generation surface fleet. What makes the Zumwalt instantly recognizable is its shape. Instead of the traditional tall, sharp-angled steel superstructure that most warships carry, the Zumwalt uses a sleek, tumble-home hull design. The sides slope inward rather than outward, causing radar waves to bounce away and giving the Zumwalt a radar signature as small as a small fishing boat, even though it's more than 600 feet long. Real-world combat. That means enemies have a harder time detecting and tracking it. The sharp wave-cutting bow is built to slice through water rather than ride on top, improving stability and efficiency at higher speeds while reducing noise. Another stealth advantage. Inside, the ship is powered by an integrated power system, or IPS, which works more like the propulsion system of a modern high-tech submarine than a traditional destroyer. Instead of relying on engines only for thrust, the Zumwalt uses turbine-generated electricity to run nearly every system on board. More than 78 megawatts of power are available, enough to light up a small city. This is important because future weapon systems like railguns and high-energy lasers demand enormous power reserves, and the Zumwalt was designed with that in mind. It's one of the first Navy ships capable of supporting these kinds of high-energy weapons without needing major redesigns. Even though those systems are still under development, Zumwalt already has the backbone to handle them. In terms of armament, the destroyer carries a mix of defensive and offensive systems designed for long-range strikes, anti-air, anti-ship, and land attack missions. The ship was originally fitted with two massive advanced gun systems designed to fire long-range guided projectiles over 60 miles with pinpoint accuracy. These guns were meant to support troops on shore with precise artillery fire. But because the special ammunition became too expensive to produce, the Navy changed plans and has been modifying the Zumwalt class to carry hypersonic missiles instead. Hypersonic weapons travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound and can maneuver in flight, making them extremely difficult to intercept. The idea is simple. Give the stealthiest destroyer in the world the fastest strike weapons on Earth. For air and missile defense, Zumwalt carries vertical launch cells capable of launching a variety of missiles for different threats: enemy aircraft, submarines, or incoming missiles. Even if the ship is silent and hidden, it's far from defenseless. One of the most interesting parts of the Zumwalt is automation. The ship is massive, but it operates with a much smaller crew than a typical destroyer, because so many systems are computer-controlled. Traditional destroyers may require more than 300 crew members, but Zumwalt runs with around half of that, meaning more space, more efficiency, and less human fatigue on long missions. The ship's bridge and control rooms have more in common with a futuristic command center than the old-style steel and analog controls of the past. Flat screens, touch panels, integrated sensors, and high-speed communications make the ship feel like a floating digital fortress. The crew can monitor threats, navigation, power systems, missile launches, and drone operations, all from centralized control hubs. Speaking of drones, the Zumwalt is designed from the beginning to work hand-in-hand with unmanned systems. Whether it's launch and recover surveillance drones, underwater unmanned vehicles, or drone swarms for reconnaissance, this destroyer isn't just a ship, it's a command platform for future naval warfare, where humans and AI-controlled systems will operate together. Its radar and sensor suite can track targets far beyond the horizon, giving commanders real-time information about aircraft, ships, and even threats below the ocean's surface. In modern warfare, information is everything, and Zumwalt is built to gather, analyze, and respond faster than enemy ships. But despite all this technology, the Zumwalt hasn't had a smooth history. The ship was originally part of a much larger program. More than 30 ships were planned, but cost overruns and changing military priorities reduced the fleet to only 3. Each ship ended up costing billions, making the Zumwalt one of the most expensive destroyers ever built. Critics argue that the Navy invested too much in experimental technology, while supporters believe that innovation always comes with a price. And these ships are test platforms for the weapons and technologies of the future. The reality is somewhere in the middle. The Zumwalt class has had problems and delays, but it's also giving the Navy a head start in an era where stealth, automation, and hypersonic weapons will redefine naval combat. The 2026 modernization program upgrades the Zumwalt with new software, advanced radars, improved missile systems, and integration of hypersonic launch capability. This phase is what transforms the ship from a futuristic concept into a combat-ready strike platform. One of the main goals is allowing the Zumwalt to participate in the Navy's new distributed fleet strategy, where instead of putting all power into a few massive carriers, the Navy spreads capability across many fast, stealthy, high-tech ships that can hit hard and vanish if targeted. With its radar invisibility, powerful weapons, long range, and digital architecture, the Zumwalt fits perfectly into that future. If you watch this ship from a distance at sea, you might mistake it for a civilian vessel, a research ship, or even nothing at all, because its radar and thermal signatures are engineered to blend into ocean clutter. That's the point. A destroyer that cannot be detected is far more dangerous than one covered in weapons and antennas. In a real fight, the Zumwalt's advantage isn't just firepower, it's the element of surprise. It can track you before you know it's there, launch missiles before you can respond, and disappear before you can strike back. So what does the Zumwalt represent? It's a look at the future of naval warfare. Warships are becoming smarter, quieter, harder to detect, and capable of launching weapons at unbelievable speed and precision. Even though there are only 3 Zumwalt-class destroyers, the technology inside them will influence the next generation of American warships for decades. Whether it's railgun testing, laser weapon deployment, hypersonic launch platforms, or AI-assisted combat systems, the Zumwalt is a floating laboratory and a combat ship at the same time. For the average viewer, it might just look like a strange-shaped military vessel. But behind that unusual design is a combination of stealth, power, and digital warfare never seen before in a surface ship. And as the 2026 upgrades continue, the DDG-1000 is evolving from an experimental platform into one of the most dangerous and hardest to detect destroyers in the world.